Hi there. Do you have team members and do you have good team members? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist and the author of How to Hire the Best, as well as the 4-Week Vacation. And I'm also the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses so that you can have more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And the reality is that all of this hinges on you having good employees and team members that you can count on. And I'm in conversations daily with business owners who are struggling to hire, who have more work than they know what to do or how to get it all done. And oftentimes they're turning down opportunities to grow the business because they don't have the team members that they need. And as I teach the How to Hire the Best course, one of the things I'm always struck by is that it's very easy to get focused on, I need more team members and I have these difficult team members over here. But what about those team members you have who are doing a great job, who you can count on? Oftentimes they go unnoticed because they just are solid and they get things done. Well, Friday, March 3rd, today, as I'm recording this live, is Team Member Appreciation Day. It's the first Friday of every March, and I love that we have a national day set aside to celebrate employees. But the reality is, and especially if you're listening to this after March 3rd, put the date on your calendar so you catch it next year. But that doesn't matter that you missed Employee Appreciation Day if you missed it. What matters is that you start making an intentional effort to acknowledge your employees all the time because they're doing good things. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is how our brain is wired as human beings, but particularly as entrepreneurs. We're designed to spot problems and things that are wrong and fix them. And so we are always noticing what's wrong. And that's what we tend to see when we look at our businesses, at all the things that are not the way we want them to be, the things that aren't working, the places where people are messing up. And it's really easy to take for granted those team members who just get things done and to become that boss on patrol. So the boss on patrol is that business owner who looks around the business and sees all the things that are wrong and is constantly talking with the team about all the things that they're doing wrong, which creates a very negative work environment, not just for the team members, but for you, the business owner too. I mean, it's really ugly to be in your head when your brain is focusing on all of that. And so, what I want to encourage you to do is to do a mindset reset for yourself and really become intentional in your business with your team to notice what's going well and to talk about it frequently, not take it for granted, to notice the wins and successes, and the small wins and successes lead to big wins over time. But we have to start small. And so look around you today and just look at, what do you have to be grateful for? What's going well in your business? Who is showing up? Who's doing a good job? Who's figured out how to solve something that's been challenging for a while in the business? And acknowledge them. And and it's not, when you're acknowledging people, just saying thank you is wonderful. That's a great place to start. The more specific you can be when you're acknowledging your team, the better. So, like on our team, for example, today, I just started thinking about our team members and all the different things they're doing. And one team member in particular, Donna, has been my right hand woman for many years as we've run the Breakthroughs Retreat. And we're going into retreat week next week. And Donna has been managing all kinds of details to make sure caterers are lined up, transportation is taken care of, venue is set up the way it needs to be. And I just told her, thank you so much, because you pay attention to all those details, and they're little details, but they mean a lot, especially when we overlook them or something goes wrong because we forgot to pay attention to a detail. Donna catches those details, and she's been supporting on the retreat for years. So she knows everything that needs to happen and is supposed to happen. So I just told her, I appreciate you so much for that. And that's one of her strengths. So I'm also acknowledging something that she's very strong in, which just again allows her to shine and feel incredibly competent, I hope. Um, and so this is what I mean when I say get very specific with your team members when you're acknowledging them. Thank you goes a long way. And I would encourage you to really think about making this a habit. So, if you're one of those business owners who really falls into the judger pit and you find yourself just walking around noticing what's wrong, you might put a sticky note on your computer or a reminder on your phone each day to notice what's going well in the business and acknowledge the people who are responsible for that going well. And that will start to get you in a habit of paying attention to the wins and successes. And this is really valuable because what we focus on grows. So if we're focusing on our worst team members and all the problems they're causing and our frustration and upsetness with them, guess what's going to grow in our business? But if we choose instead to focus on here's what's going well and acknowledge the positive, you're going to have much better relationships with your team members. But that aside, what's going on in your head is going to be much more positive. Your head is going to be a better place to be for you. And the other thing that I think is really interesting to think about is the ratio of positive communication to critical feedback, or what might be perceived as negative feedback. So, if we can strive to have a 7-to-1 ratio with our team, 7 positives for every 1 piece of negative or critical feedback, we know that we are building our team members' emotional bank accounts. And so, if we have to make a withdrawal when we have to give critical feedback or negative feedback, we've had a lot of positive interaction along the way, and they're going to be much more receptive to hearing what we have to say versus getting defensive and shutting down or closing off around it. So Employee Appreciation Day is our day, I think, as business owners to be reminded of how important it is to acknowledge our team members throughout the year, not just today. And in terms of retention, retaining good team members, one of the things that I see a lot with small business owners is we spend a lot of time trying to deal with the problem team members so they get more of our attention. We have one-to-ones with them because we've got to keep them in line and we're trying to get them where we need so that they're meeting expectations. I really would encourage you to shift that focus and be intentional to have regular one-to-ones every week or every other week with your best team members. Invest your time in them because that's what's going to pay off for you. And when you're supporting your best team members and you're giving them the gift of your focused attention. So, attention and acknowledgement are 2 of the greatest gifts we can give people. When we're giving our best team members the gift of our focused attention, we're telling them through nonverbal communication, we appreciate you. I'm spending time with you because I value you. I value your input. When we're asking them for their ideas on how to address something in the business, the communication there, the subtext of that communication is, I value you. I value your input. And that's way beyond appreciation on Employee Appreciation Day once a year. That is ongoing. And so, one of the best ways to become a great place to work and an employer of choice for the A players you want to attract to your team is to take really good care of the A players you currently have. So instead of trying to find more, look at what you have and value them and appreciate them. And the conversations that you have with them about their hopes and dreams, like take your best team members out to lunch or coffee and sit down and just talk about what's important to them, what's on their mind, what are their hopes and dreams? What do they want the pinnacle of their career to look like? What are some things they've always wanted to do, or experiences they've always wanted to have, places they've wanted to travel, things they've wanted to learn? And just start taking note for yourself of what's important to them and look for ways to support them. Maybe it's sharing a magazine article or a podcast or a book you read, something that ties to what matters to them. That is one of the most precious ways that you can acknowledge your employees. And you know what was interesting to me as I was researching Employee Appreciation Day, you know what pops up? All kinds of articles with 50 things you can do to show your team appreciation, like play video games and bring in popcorn and all this kind of stuff. And those are wonderful. And you should do that. You should look for ways to have fun with your team. And never discount the value of your focused time and attention that you spend with your best team members. That's what they're going to remember. That's what they're going to appreciate the most. And that builds their relationship with you. And it takes the employee-employer relationship beyond that transactional way of relating where I show up, I do work, and I get paid. That's a transactional relationship. When you have just a transactional relationship with your team members, if they get a better opportunity elsewhere, a job that pays a couple more dollars per hour, you're very likely to lose them. But if you have a mutually invested relationship with them where they're invested in supporting you and achieving your goals and vision for the business, and you in turn are investing in them and wanting to know what matters to them and what their goals are. And investing doesn't have to be monetary. It can be time and mentoring and supporting them or connecting them with people who could support them in achieving some of the goals they have. That's highly valuable in terms of building a mutually beneficial relationship. And the other thing that I want to share with you along these lines is that there are opportunities for you to develop your A players that really show them how much you appreciate them. So investing in their ongoing development and training, like at Tap the Potential, we have several things that we offer, several courses that we offer that business owners send their A players through. Number one, to help the business, but number two, because it's an investment in their team members' personal and professional development. So one of the first ones that many team members go through is our leadership bootcamp program. And the feedback that we get from the employees who go through it is that it is the best personal development they've had because they're learning things about themselves and they're taking it home and sharing it with their families. So it's impacting beyond just the employee. And when you are looking at acknowledging your team members, when you can set them up to be the hero in their family as a way of acknowledging them, that is a deeper level of acknowledgement and recognition. So when you put them in a course like Leadership Bootcamp, where they learn life skills and communication skills that they can easily share with their family members, and they can go home and talk about what they're learning with their family members, and their family members are benefiting because that team member is showing up as a better person at home. Now you're really impacting not just that employee, but their family in a very positive way. So that builds loyalty and engagement with your team member. And that doesn't even touch how you're benefiting in the business from that employee being in a course like that. What we see from the business side of things is the team members who go through courses like Leadership Bootcamp really come out with an understanding of the business sweet spot, and they understand the importance of profitability in the business. They learn about their strengths, they learn about their communication style, and they are looking at how can I apply my strengths to support the sweet spot of the business and to support the profitability. So they're starting to think like an owner in the business, and they become a trusted ally for the business owner. So all of that is happening, and it benefits you, the business, but the real benefit that the employees are talking about is how it impacts their personal life. That's their big takeaway. And so I encourage you to think beyond the basic employee appreciation, like little perks, and really look at how can I invest in my best team members and really create a relationship with them so that they know that they are valued and appreciated. The reality is, When an A player comes to work for you and they know your vision and they understand the sweet spot of the business and they understand their ability to impact the profitability, they get very creative in their mind and looking at what they can do. And one of the things I think about is the exponential return on investment from an employee who's now engaging in that way in your business. I remember a business owner about 5 or 6 years ago who put a team member in leadership boot camp. And they put the team member in leadership boot camp because this was an A player and they had moved them into a role as a way of acknowledging them. They had moved them up the org chart. It had been a promotion, but then they had noticed the team member's performance slipping. And the business owner was really confused by it. And the team member was really confused by it because all of a sudden she wasn't enjoying work. And she said, I used to like to come to work and I want to figure this out, Dr. Sabrina. And so the reason we put her in leadership boot camp is I knew she would learn about her strengths and the business sweet spot. And so she went through leadership boot camp and she realized that she had been moved into a role that no longer played to her strengths. It actually pulled on her Achilles heels quite a bit. She was a very outgoing, bubbly person, and she enjoyed being, in the public and in the front of the store. And now she was in a role where she was having to do a lot of administrative work and creating reports and dealing with team members from a management perspective, but not really out there public facing. And there was a lot of, there wasn't much opportunity for spontaneity. And she was also a very spontaneous, fun person. So this team member recognized that. And then once she recognized that, we sat down with the business owner and we talked about the disparities that she had in her current role. So she went back to her previous role and started using her strengths. And with her new awareness of the business sweet spot and the importance of profitability, she identified that there had been a maintenance program that this business had been wanting to put in place for years and just hadn't had time. No one in the business had gotten around to it. She saw that she could do that really well and she could market it well and she could convey the value. And so she took it on herself to design this program. She got it implemented. The program is continuing to run. It's a program that has a lot of margin for the business. So this is profitable revenue coming in for the business. She stayed with the business another year or two after that. And then she transitioned. She took a different opportunity because that's what A players do. They're not going to be with you for life. But what's interesting about this, do you think the business owner is saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I invested in leadership boot camp and now my team member is no longer here? No, because this team member created a program that continues every year to generate profitable revenue for this business. And this program has continued to grow over the years. And so that's a significant return on that business owner's investment. In the meantime, here's a team member who's no longer with the company, but values that company and knows that that company invested in them and is out there sharing good PR about that company because of the business owner being willing to invest in the team member and in their professional development. And so that's how this plays out. And that is way beyond just a simple like gift card because it is Employee Appreciation Day. This is really your opportunity to think much bigger about what is the opportunity for you when you make it a habit to, number one, acknowledge your team members every day. And then the other part of that habit is really looking at how can I give the gift of my focused attention to support my team members in developing themselves. So I hope this has broadened your thinking and helped you think in a bigger way about what's possible when you're appreciating your team members and how that can really impact the business positively. If you want our support at Tap the Potential in developing your team of A players, you should book a call with us. Just head on over to tapthepotential.com. And on the homepage, you'll see the link to book a call. You'll have the opportunity to meet with one of our success concierges who are trained in supporting you in your A player development plans. And our success concierges are also able to talk with you about what you're specifically trying to accomplish in the business and what your challenges are and guide you into the right program that we offer at Tap the Potential to support you. with your needs. So thank you for spending time with me today. And remember, acknowledgement feels good. Who will you thank for doing a good job today? Bye for now.